Good morning, everyone. I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet. I'm here at the floor of the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, too. Are you happy it's Thanksgiving week?
Yeah, I am. My daughter's not coming in from Oregon, which bothers me. She has to work. And you always want your family together. But we'll get some buds together and some family, and it's good. How about you?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm also not spending time with my family, but
You're not? You're staying here, not going to Texas?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Jim, how are the markets looking?
This is one of the worst times in a long time. It's usually a pretty benign time, but I was going over, guys jumped all over me, and they should have. But the story about Facebook, second one, seemed gratuitous to me, but there's some new information. The endless articles about Apple and suppliers seem gratuitous to me, but you could argue, well, there's new information that they're saying it affects all the phones. Articles about GE, power issues. Again, here there's credit issues, and they bring in a guy, John Rice, who's the seasoned hand, whom I like very much, obviously trying to get their arms around it. You have negative story about Salesforce and not doing that well, and I don't believe that. I think Salesforce is doing fine, but it doesn't matter. The negative piece about Palo Alto, I think they're doing fine. Doesn't matter. These are action alert names. So you just kind of get an overweening sense that the market is just in full-blown bear market with a couple of stocks that are holding up, and it's difficult to be negative enough, I would say. And we haven't been buying stuff for action alerts, and we kind of, kind of waiting for some levels that matter. But it is a very, 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 very bad market.
Let's go a little bit deeper on the Apple thing, because I know that that's been a huge topic for you guys, and it's an Action Alerts Plus name for those who don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Apple's hard because you don't know how much they knew and how much they don't know about their weakness. We know that the installed base is fantastic. We know maybe they screwed up on the different iterations. We know that business, my understanding is business is strong, but the storyline is so negative. Let's see if it holds the 185 level, bounces. I think that you'll begin to get more. You'll get analysts who want to downgrade it because they don't want to be known as someone who stayed long here. Because they see, not unlike Facebook, which hasn't had the big downgrade yet, it still has more, that you've got stories that are in companies with shareholders in very weak hands. So there's a desire to get ahead and downgrade, and that hasn't even happened yet.
Do you have a winner for your Apple contest?
No, no one's downgraded yet, but it's still to come. Look, I think people own Apple, so I don't want to, I want people to stay the course, but I recognize that there are people who want to get out. Obviously, we did a piece last week off the charts. And in the piece, we had Carolyn Baroden talk about where it could bounce. And very, very rarely as this happened, it didn't bounce. And she called it a busted trade. And that's important. So the chartists, it didn't hold. We have Facebook. Thank heaven we sold some Facebook for Action Alert, but Facebook, the articles are so damning. So you've got journalists, this is what they're making fun of me. I said, hey, journalists are in control. And they said, oh, come on, the story's in control. But, look, if you can write the same story every single day with a little nuance, we'll keep driving things down.
Pfizer is stock of the day. Now, the reason for that is because it's big news that they are going to rate.
Oh, my God, why would they raise now? It's again, like you pick up the... I know it's going back and forth with our London Bureau. It's like, oh, God, how could Pfizer have been so wrong? They're poorly timed, but it's... the president is busy, I guess, and they think they can get away with it. Remember what happened with Milan? And so... you really, when you have a market where the only things that are working are Verizon and Ulta, and that's a pretty small thing. I wish we were down 500 Dow points. I wish we could get the washout, but it's drip, drip, drip.
And for anyone who's curious about Pfizer, they can go to Real Money and they can
we
find
got good stuff on it.
Yeah, they've got wall-to-wall coverage. It's going to be great. One of the other things that I think is really interesting in this market right now is the trade war. And now you mentioned last week in your Action Alerts Plus call, you had 7 different strategies to buying a stock. Now, one of those was looking at Yeah. So
well, I did a piece on Real Money this morning. I think people should really spend a lot of time this weekend on, which is comparison between the October 4th Hudson Institute speech by Pence. They're available on the White House website. And then this weekend's piece. And they're very similar, except for this time China was there. And Pence directly trashed the Belt and Road Initiative. The Belt and Road Initiative, if you don't know that, is a multi-trillion-dollar initiative for China to be able to do foreign aid. And he talked about how people get hooked on the debt. It was a very damning speech to give. If you didn't know any better, there's still people who think it's good cop, bad cop. I don't know. This was such a negative piece that it did make me feel like that the Friday comments by Trump about how maybe something could happen that's positive were taken back, which is why we have to repeal all the points that we got. They are the question. Doug Cass has some interesting stuff to say about the potential manipulation of the market. I think that what matters is that there's no good news. There's just no good news, and we should be seasonally strong. But when you see Facebook down, and when you see Salesforce down, see Apple down, see Google down, see Amazon down, see Netflix going into bear territory, you recognize that this is a different kind of market, and you have to be very careful.
I'm glad that you mentioned both Salesforce and Google because I do want to get to those. I've got some great analyst notes from your analyst, Jeff Marks. And so in our Action Alerts Plus video, I'm going to try to get to those and get your opinion on them.
Let's understand. Again, I'm just trying to help people here. I just want to warn people that things are not good. I'm not saying things are terrible. I'm just saying things are not good.
There's a huge difference. All right, Jim, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks, guys. I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet. I'll see you guys tomorrow.